Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Michael. Michael is from Austin in Texas in the USA. And today it's a very special date for Michael because his daughter is celebrating 18 years old. So, Pamela, I would like to wish you a very happy birthday. I hope you have an amazing time around your dad and around your loved ones as well. And I would like to say happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pamela. Happy birthday to you. Hey, so I hope all of you enjoyed the interview. Good morning, Michael. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very well. Thanks so much for taking the time on Saturday morning for the interview. Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
So how's your morning going so far?
Good. I'm just really getting ready for the gym, which is my normal Saturday routine, and yeah, doing chores around the house.
I see. Are you more of a night or a day person?
Kind of a mixture of both. I like to get up early, so usually I'm up somewhere between 6 and 7. I do a little tooling around the house at the gym. Got to get my daughter up for school usually, and then I'm starting my day for work around 9 o'clock, 9:30, and then my day progresses from there, and usually get to bed between 11 and 12. So
wow, busy day.
Yeah. Work, home life, and a teenager. It's always going on.
I see. You have one. You mentioned that you have one daughter.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
And Michael, tell me where you're from.
Originally from New York. My dad worked for IBM, so we moved through his work several times. So kind of lived all over. So I went from New York to California. Lived in California till I was about 12, and then from there went to Arizona, and left Arizona at 22 to move to Kansas City with my first partner. Lived there for 10 years, then moved to Seattle, had our daughter in Seattle, and then moved to Austin when she was about 18 months old, and been here ever since. So.
Wow. And why Austin?
At the time it was a place that we could kind of slow life down and enjoy her. I became a stay-at-home dad for the first time, which was an interesting transition. We just kind of wanted something a little bit less hectic, because we were both working a ton of hours, and I had to commute for work in Seattle, an hour and a half each way. So it was a lot. So yeah, so we kind of had to slow things down.
And your family, they're all back in New York?
No, well, I have cousins in New York, but my family's mostly kind of settled in Arizona. My immediate family. Yeah, I have a brother still in California.
Michael, and what do you do for a living?
I own my own business, so I am a professional organizer, and I do closet design, and then I have a concierge service.
Oh, tell me a little bit about your company, about your business.
Yeah, so started it about 8 years ago, and started really just wanting to help people. My previous job before I started the business was selling moves for people, so moving people across country and meeting with them and kind of giving them an estimate on their moves. And it kind of became obvious that these people were like always busy, needed help, could never get to everything. And I've always, even as a child, been an organizer, organized my toys, labeled things. That was just who I was. So after being in the corporate world for 30 years, I decided to just kind of take the leap, and kind of started doing it part-time on the side, and then About a year after that, I quit my job and started, doing that and getting leads. And then I had a partnership for many years with the Container Store, which is they do closets, and they have lots of product that you can buy for organizing. So that's really what their store is based around. And it just kind of took off from there. And then the concierge service kind of started about a year after that, where, I just kind of identified that people were, after I was done designing closets and organizing, they needed help. So I have a couple assistants that kind of handle that part of the business, and just kind of go in with customers and help them basically simplify their life. And that's the name of my company, is Simply by Michael. So
amazing. Wow, I was listening to you, I was just like imagining your business. How must be very interesting to get, to go to people's place and just organize everything there.
Yes.
Wow.
Everything I do is a joy. It's always a lot of work. I always have to, it's really like a counseling session with people, because they're sometimes embarrassed by the mess. And really it's, that's life. Sometimes things get out of whack and you don't have time to deal with it, or you don't have the knowledge or know-how to do it. And I can come and look at a space, and even if it overwhelms me, I can look at it and say, okay, this is where we need to start, and let's do it. And so I just kind of dive in and, get going. So I try to make people feel comfortable and not embarrassed, because again, a lot of families, you have two working parents, or, you are traveling for work, and you just don't have time to deal with the day-to-day stuff. Work doesn't stop anymore, it's always there.
I wish I could fly you from Texas to London to have a look at my...
I would love that. I love London. It's one of my favorite cities. So
one day, maybe, you never know. One day if you come for holidays or for vacation, okay, let's kind of try to organize like a day that you can.
Exactly.
Okay, Michael, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Yeah, sure.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my lovely friend. Random fun questions, okay? I'm just gonna play a song now, just for us to move a bit before the first question.
Okay.
Let's do it. Michael from Texas. Oh, so just before we start the game, through the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay? It's all very friendly.
Sure.
First question for you is, what would be your ideal day?
Getting up in the morning, going to the gym, really just busy, but not a crazy busy day, which I have a lot of those. And spending time, with my daughter and my family. Really, it's being with friends and family is really what I get most enjoyment out of, is just celebrating life.
As I can see that you are a businessman, I believe that when you run a business, usually you don't have a day off. Do you take a day off? Like, okay, I'm not gonna be even in my phone to check emails or anything, or you kind of lie to yourself sometimes. You kind of.
That's difficult to do as you're self-employed. I mean, when I worked for another company, weekends were pretty much sacred. Occasionally, you might have to do something or travel, but when you work for yourself, it's always about chasing the next dollar, right? So it's difficult, but I try to take Sundays for me and for the family.
I see. Yeah, I'm originally from Brazil, and I have this tendency of Sundays to be very chilled and relaxed. Not anymore since I started doing the Magic Box, but
yeah, right.
But it's still Sundays. I still have this mindset of, you know what I mean? Just take it easy, take it easy, be with our own family, go for brunch, or just do things that you don't do on your weekdays or Saturdays as well.
Yeah.
Next question, Michael. Let's do it. Before the next question, tell me what's the best part of being a dad?
Being a dad, the best part. Well, being in a same-sex relationship, I never thought I would be a dad. So I've always viewed it as a gift and a privilege. So, you know, my daughter's going to be 18 and she's going to be going off to college soon. So it's, I'm being very nostalgic these days because it goes by so fast and all the stages of her childhood. And one of the things that a friend of mine said to me once is, every day is a teaching moment with your child, because he had observed me one time at a restaurant with her when she was a very young girl. And I was teaching her how to sit at the table and use her silverware, and because we were at a restaurant, and she was about 5 or 6 years old. So, you know, she was squirming in her seat like normal 5-year-olds do. And the amount of patience and time consumption that it takes, you know, he mentioned that to me, and I was like, you're right. Like, every moment is a teaching moment with your kid, no matter how old they are. There's always something that you need to teach them. And when they get to teenage years, you know, they don't think you know anything, of course, but
they know everything as a teenager, you know?
Yes, they know everything.
Obviously, they know everything.
And that's hard too. It's hard to watch them. You know, I'm nervous about her going off to college and making mistakes and doing stuff, but that's kind of the rite of passage, right? She has to do those things.
Yeah, as they say, you don't raise a child for yourself, you raise a child for the world.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, so I mean, I guess to answer your question is, I just feel fortunate to be a dad, and so my favorite part is just the fact that I am.
And you're saying as well about teaching then, and for sure as well, you learn a lot every single day as well from them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's always a lesson. Like, you go like, my God, how can I learn every day something new with a child or a teenager, or growing up as a child?
Well, and to realize that sometimes they ask questions and you just have to like, yeah, I need to think about that. I need to figure out how I'm going to answer that. And when they're young, they ask you sometimes some pretty hairy questions. And what I found was a lot of times you try to prepare this long speech and, you know, how are you going to say things? And then you say the first sentence and they're like, oh, okay. And you're like, oh, well, that was easy. So, you know, and then maybe a month later, they may ask the same question and you go a little bit further. So they're not necessarily looking for all of the specific details about things, but you know, you just have to be prepared. And a lot of times with my daughter, a lot of those discussions were really in the car, or, you know, it was always like while I was driving. So sometimes she would say stuff that would just crack me up. And of course, you can't laugh. So there would be a long pause while I was trying not to laugh, and then I would try to answer the question. So, yeah.
And being a gay dad, did you kind of educate her since the beginning? She's always been aware of it, or you had like a conversation, okay, that's who I am or not, like what's happening naturally?
Yeah, I mean, she knew early on. I think before, so we had a egg donor and a surrogate. So we had a gestational carrier, technically is the term. And so my daughter doesn't have technically a mother, because the woman that carried her was not biologically related to her. So, you know, so she would ask questions about that. And then, you know, she would tell, sometimes I feel like she has no filter, because she would just blab to everybody, which is fine. But at the time, the other children were like, well, everybody has a mom. Like, so, and she wasn't equipped to basically, you know, to handle the questions that were coming at her. So she would get frustrated, but her school was amazing and they, you know, helped along the way. You know, I'd like to think that, you know, she had a good childhood, and I'm sure there were some difficulties along the way, but, you know, I feel like, let's face it, every kid has their obstacles. So if, you know, if it was a struggle for her, she never showed it. And she always took things in stride. And I mean, she even had a friend that was like, "You have two dads? That's so cool. I want two dads." And her dad was like, "No, that's not going to happen."
But
So
it's funny,
yeah,
interesting you say that, Michael, because sometimes children, they are so, let's say, genuine, and they are so pure that sometimes as well, they see the message there. They see, you know,
yeah,
the obvious, they see the obvious there. They just don't have information, you know what I mean? It's
right.
like it's like have a mother and a dad as well as a straight couple, because there are some, let's say, some doubts that's going to come to us and you're not
Yes.
ready. We just kind of learn with ourselves, you know what I mean? So
Yes.
children sometimes, that's why sometimes you get very surprised, because, oh my God, how would be, I was expecting something more, you know what I mean? But no, because
Yeah.
they know.
Well, and kids really ultimately they just want love, right? And so if you're providing that, and you know, I made a very early on made a point of in Austin, there's a great gay dad network, and so I made a point of really surrounding her with other gay families and other families of different, you know, transgender and things like that. So she was kind of exposed to that, but also exposed to, you know, normal heterosexual couples and things like that. So I feel like, you know, she had friends come out to her when she was 12 and 13 years old, and they confided in her. And I think that was because they knew what kind of family she had. So, you know, I kind of always felt like, as a gay person, I'm kind of a representative of my people, and people ask questions, and they always like, "Oh, I'm sorry, did you adopt?" And then they would apologize for being too forward. And I was like, we're two gay men having a child. Obviously, that's not like either I was married before and had a kid, or like there's, and I never got offended by those questions, because I always felt like if people were curious enough to ask, then I could open up their world and their minds to my world. So
Absolutely. And sometimes it's good for us to educate people as well. You know what I mean? It's good.
Yes.
It's good that you have this open-minded, because this mindset of being open, because sometimes it's not even their fault. They're not like it doesn't happen every day, or the society. So you know what I mean? They follow these ways of society. Sometimes if they don't do it doesn't come from a bad place. It's just like a spontaneous way that they're not expecting. You know what I mean? You need to be aware. Well,
exactly.
Michael, next question is, if you could spend an entire day with a family member, who that would be and why?
Well, that one's easy. My mom, for sure. She passed away a few years back, and she was our person for the family. You know, she kind of always made family events and special, and always brought us all together. I mean, it just was such a loss when she passed. So yeah, I mean, definitely I still to this day will try to pick up the phone and call her, or say, I wish I could tell mom that. And I know that in my world that she's always around me, right? So I feel like sometimes I'll talk to her in hopes that, you know, she's listening, even though I don't get a response. But yeah, for sure.
If you could see my arm now, I've got goosebumps. You're saying that's so powerful. My goodness. I'm sure she's somewhere. She always will be. You know, I think it's, you know, our mom, she never going to be another one. And they're always going to be around us. Even if they go to another place, she always will be there for sure. Next question, Michael. Let's do it. Michael from Austin, Texas.
Yes.
Okay, which question you don't have an answer for?
Sometimes I feel like, and this is something that my mother always used to teach me, is that hate was always a strong word that she did not like. And so I think the question that I don't have an answer for is why people hate. I think I understand how they're taught that, but I don't think that you're raised, I mean, I don't think that you're inherently born that way with that emotion. I think it's taught. And I don't understand, you know, she always used to say, you can not like a person, but you should never hate a person. You can hate a thing, but you should never hate a person. No matter how bad or what they did, you should always, you know, just kind of turn the other cheek, sort of thing. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess that's I don't know who would teach somebody that, I guess is the thing I don't understand.
Absolutely. I must say something as well, Michael. This word for me, I even don't like saying it because it's so strong for me. I like, as you said everything now. I think we can dislike things. We are able to not like something, which is normal.
Yeah.
We are a being. But this word is very strong and it's kind of, it comes with a bad energy around. It's like something very heavy. Yes,
Yeah.
something very heavy. I totally agree. Next question. Before the next question, tell me what do you like the most about your business and what is the most challenging part?
The thing I love the most is helping other people. I mean, honestly, if I could do what I do for free, I would do it with no problems because in all my work career, I've never been more appreciated or praised by clients for helping them kind of simplify their life. And that's kind of how I kept coming back to the title of my company. Is it was really about creating methods for them that work for them. So there's 100 ways to organize a space, but that doesn't always work for everybody, right? And even me, the way that I would like things done doesn't necessarily work for that client. So I have to really listen to what they need and try to help them along the way and teach them methods and give them advice and and tips and tricks and things like that. So, I mean, I love doing what I do. And I feel like out of all the things I've done in my past, it kind of led me to this place in my life. And I pull from all of those things. And if you had asked me when I started, other than being scared about like what I thought I was doing, and I never thought I would have done this years and years ago if I could have done it, if I thought I could have done it, and be successful at it. So, yeah. And then the thing that's the most challenging for me is I tend to always overschedule myself because I always want to help people. So, like yesterday I had a day to like send out invoices for everybody because I'm like, money's getting low. I need to get paid. So, but that's always the last priority for me, which shouldn't be the case because I'm always out in my car driving around doing stuff for clients. And so sitting at my desk, when I used to have a desk job, but sitting at my desk now is like torture. I just like being out with people and helping them. So, yeah.
Your clients are going to want the interview. They're going to go like, oh my God, it's so good to know that I'm going to delay that. No, don't do that. He's just enjoying his job. He's just enjoying his job, okay?
Exactly.
Next question for you is, in your opinion, what do you think people need to know about each other before they start a relationship?
I think, what you need to know in addition to just the initial attraction is that when you're starting a relationship, over time, it changes and it can get stale and boring. And when it does, and you look at that other person and think, I'm not that attracted to them, or, we've lost that spark, that person could be like, everything's fine and dandy, right? So if you feel that way, that's you feeling that way. And that's your key to say, what can I do to make it better? Not, well, let me go find somebody else. So I feel like sticking it out with that person, it's an ebb and flow and it's a relationship and it grows. And the more that you put into it, the more you get out. And really making yourself vulnerable is the scariest part. It's easy to just say, I'm going to get out. But what I found is when you start the next relationship, the funny part about it is when you start a new relationship, some of the things that your exes didn't like about you or would say that this is annoying, the new person says the same thing, right? Because you're not changing, you're who you are. And you have to love the person for who they are, but you also have to realize that your flaws are, no matter who you're with, they're still there. And they might not annoy the person as much, or maybe more. You just don't know. So if you find a good person, you need to just hang on and enjoy the ups and downs.
You said something now that's made me think about the situation with myself. My first boyfriend, I was living in Portugal before I moved to the UK, to London. And my first boyfriend was Portuguese, a good friend of mine now. And I never forget, one day he came up to me and said, William, come here, let's talk. I was like, what's happening? He was like, William, you're not 12 years old anymore, please. Can you grow up? Just grow up. Anyway, but the funny thing is not that. The funny thing is I moved to England, and my second boyfriend, English, one day he said, William, come here. And I was like, oh my God, something happened. And he said the same thing, exactly the same thing, but in English, like a different language. And before he finished the sentence, I was already cracking laughing. He was like, oh my God, you haven't finished already laughing. I said, no, it's just because you said the same thing that my ex said for the past.
Yeah. Right. So then it's like you were like ignoring the first person that said it. And then the second time you hear it, you're like, okay, maybe there's some value to this. So yeah, sometimes it's like, and there's truth to, like, when somebody else says it to you, it's like, all right, I should probably listen to this. But when the person that's close to you says it, you're like, you get offended, or you get hurt, or, and you're like, well, they're really not, and you are who you are, right?
Yeah.
So, but you can be aware of those things and try to make them better. But essentially, if they don't love you for who you are, then maybe they're not the right person.
Absolutely. And I must say the third one didn't say that. So, I mean, I'm kind of growing up now.
so you've gotten better, yeah.
or I hidden very well. I was like, okay, I'm getting there. Let's be slow down a little bit.
Yes, yeah.
Next question. Next question for you, Michael. If you had only 24 hours of life, what would you do?
Wow. Obviously spend it with my daughter, and friends and family. Like, you just want to be surrounded by all those people. But I think that I would want to make it not a somber thing. I would want to make it an excitement thing, like a party or a good time, not a sad time. I think that, so I'd want to have a celebration with family and friends and have time to talk to them and tell them how much they meant to me.
See, good point. Next question. Let's do it. But before the next question, as you're saying, how close you were to your mom, or still is, and your family as well. Being gay, always being, let's say, you had a support time, or it was a big challenge?
So, I mean, I had a pretty normal childhood. I knew that I was gay or different from a very young age, probably 4 or 5 years old. But growing up in a Catholic home, I knew it wasn't something that I should share. And I just kind of always felt like it would go away eventually, or like it was I was suppressing it, essentially. And as I got older, it became harder and harder to ignore. And I came out at 19, which back in the day, that was young. Now kids are coming out at 12 and 13. It was difficult because I didn't tell my parents for a year. And I did not like them not being included in my life because I knew that they wouldn't accept me for who I was. And they struggled, and we had a strained relationship for many years. But ultimately, no matter what was said between us, or no matter how they dealt with it, I knew that they were almost hurt because they thought that it was, against God's will, and they were embarrassed or ashamed about it. But I knew deep down that they still loved me. And that's a testament to the way I was raised, because they weren't saying those things, but I knew that they were, and that they were struggling and thinking that they did something wrong, or that they should have changed something in my life. But I grew up with friends, and, I played sports, and I had girlfriends. But, for me, every time it got too serious with the girl, I would move to the next one, because it was my way of like. And when I had my first boyfriend, it was the first time in my life that I felt like, this is what people talk about. This is how I'm supposed to feel, like head over heels, like completely in love and out of control. Like I'd never had that feeling before. And I think it was my parents who gave me the strength to know who I was and to stand on my own 2 feet and really say, yeah, I'm gay. This is me. If you don't like it, too bad. And so, you know, it was a tough period of time that I wish would have gone differently. But, you know, with every passing year, it got a little better and a little less uncomfortable. And I think my parents started realizing, oh, so-and-so son is gay, or, you know, my friend's sister is gay or lesbian. And, you know, so they started, because they didn't grow up around it. And so they had never really met gay people, or if they had, they didn't know. Right. Yeah. So, the more time they spent with me and, you know, they were kind of introduced to people, the more, I guess, comfortable they became. And then, you know, I've always pushed their boundaries. Was like, oh, well, you know, we're getting married. And at the time it wasn't legal. And they're like, well, can you do that? And I'm like, well, no, but we want to do that around our friends and show people that we are together and that we're making a commitment. And they didn't come to the wedding, although they sent a very nice wedding gift. Like they weren't ready, but they wanted to support. They wanted to show their support the best way they could. And then when I told them I was having a child, they were like, you know, is that the right thing to do? You know, without a mom and all this stuff. And the day Paloma was born in San Diego. So, and they were in Arizona, and I called that morning and said, you know, we had a girl, and my mom, we were supposed to like have the baby, get her checked out, and then fly home, because we were in Seattle at the time. And she said, don't go anywhere. We're throwing stuff in the car, and we'll be there in 5 hours. And I mean, I was shocked, and I was like, we can't go anywhere. My parents are coming. And my partner at the time was like, what? So, and then from that point forward, there was never any issues. And my mom was always amazing and telling me how good of a dad I was. And, you know, it was a kind of a full circle moment. And Paloma got time with my mom that, you know, I'm so appreciative for. I mean, my mom she was really built to be a mom and built to be, you know, the head of the family. And she would take my daughter every summer for 2 weeks every summer. And she's like, you're dropping her off. I mean, I wasn't asking, she was telling me. And she's like, and you were going to go do something fun. Like, you are leaving her. And at first it was difficult, but, you know, she had done this with my siblings before. And until I was a parent, I didn't really think about like the bond that she got to have with them directly, rather than, you know, me showing up with my daughter and correcting her in front of grandma. Paloma was just Paloma with grandma, and my mom would spoil the crap out of her. And I would literally get her home and she'd be like, can you get me this? And I'm like, excuse me? You know, like we say please and thank you. And, you know, and I was like, oh, you know, what did Paloma have for breakfast? We had pancakes with M&Ms in them, and we watched TV. And I was like, what? Like, you know, she wasn't at the table. You know, my dad would be like, oh, she wanted ice cream for breakfast, so we went for ice cream. And so, and, you know, part of me was like upset, but the other part of me was like,
beautiful.
That's what grandparents are for, right? They're there to spoil their kids and let them do what they want. And you know, there's a little deprogramming when they get home, but I'm so thankful that Paloma had that relationship, that direct contact with them, because when my mom passed, all the grandkids really had a special bond with them. So if I ever have the privilege of being a grandparent, that's exactly what I would do.
Oh, beautiful story, Michael. Thanks for sharing. Beautiful story. I just
sure.
Again, I think sometimes, as I said, it's our job as well to educate them, and sometimes as well, it's our job to put ourselves in their shoes. It's because society, religion, this and that, they just they just don't know how to deal with
Yeah.
that. It always happened with the neighbors, it happened with the other family, but
Yes.
never happened to our family. And
Yeah.
when it happens, that's when you get, oh my God, what's the next step now? Anyway,
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. You say about your daughter, the bonds they have together. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Maybe it's like this. Whatever she couldn't support you at the time, she'll support you even more being around your daughter.
Yeah.
So I think that's beautiful, for sure. Next question is: tell me 3 fun facts about yourself.
Fun facts about myself. I don't know if they're necessarily fun, but I guess I do enjoy people and throwing parties and having people over and just seeing people's smiles on their faces. Gosh, fun. I mean,
You can say interesting, something that maybe not many people know.
I'm just trying to think of like, I mean, I try to keep a positive outlook on life always, and I try to see the glasses half full, and my daughter, unfortunately, sees the glasses half empty, so that's always been a struggle. But, you know, I try to take things, even bad things, I try to take the positive from that or try to see the lesson in it. So I think for the most part, I'm a happy person. I'm a very loyal friend. Yeah, I mean, I love to laugh. Silly jokes, funny jokes. I love to smile and have a good time. So
very good. You see, a lot of interesting facts about yourself. It wasn't easy to get there. 3 questions left for you, okay? Let's do it. Next question, Michael. What is your funniest memory of your time at school?
I guess it's this, things that your parents would kill you for. We used to play, you know, so my teenage years were in Tucson, Tucson, Arizona, which is a smaller place, and you kind of had to make your own fun. So when I was a teenager, you know, you do these goofy things, and we would play bumper tag with the cars. So we'd be driving around, and if you got stopped at a red light, the person would tap your bumper, and then they were it, and then they had to chase you. So not necessarily the safest thing to do. I mean, we weren't driving like 100 miles an hour or anything stupid. We were trying to stay within speed limits and stuff. But yeah, kind of not the smartest thing to do as a kid. But I do look fondly on that time of stupid young thing to do.
It was a different childhood of normal days, not a new.
Yeah.
Technology, you don't find those joys anymore. It's a different world,
right.
For sure.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're much more carefree and much more invincible feeling when you're younger.
I just can see now people watching this interview, they go like, "Oh, I got an idea now. I'm going to start doing that."
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Don't do this at home. Yeah.
No. It's just in the past. Now it's prohibited. Yeah. In the past was.
Yeah, exactly.
There was no internet at the time, so we did find a way of
right. I mean, gosh, I feel so lucky to not have grown up in that. I have to explain to my daughter all the time that just because she read it online doesn't make it true. And that even if it supposedly disappears, that doesn't mean it's not going to be out there or somebody can't find it. You know, all the stupid stuff that we did. We have pictures maybe, but not video. So it can be very, very dangerous.
Oh dear. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Okay, Michael from Texas. Next question is, what keeps you up at night?
Well, these days it's about getting my daughter ready for college, and really just like she's going to be 18 next month, so I feel like there's still so much I have to teach her and that she needs to learn, and it's like I'm trying to like rush like it's like time's running out and I still have more to teach you, and she's going off to college. So yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful that she calls me with questions and and makes smart choices and is safe, and is doesn't date asshole men. So I worry about those kind of things, right? As a dad, you want your daughter to be able to protect herself and to be able to know what to do in a situation where she is in a bad situation. And like, I was just talking to her about drinking alcohol and that she should never take a drink from somebody that she hasn't seen pouring the drink, just like stuff. And they're just coming out randomly as like we're talking and from nowhere. So she's always like, well, okay, like that was weird. So
don't worry, Mike. You're very overprotective. I'm sure she'll handle that very well, for sure. It's just so. Protect that way of being.
Yeah.
You say that her birthday next month. Which day?
March 10th is her birthday.
Oh my God, my mom is March 9th. My mom.
Oh wow! Wow.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Small world.
Ready for the last one?
Yep.
Let's do it. Last question. Before the last question, I'd like to tell me a fun story or interesting story that happened to you when you were working with a client, or unexpected situation that you saw it, or something that surprised you, or something that you couldn't handle for some reason, or you could manage, or anything like interesting or funny through your business.
So what's funny with my clients is, I've been told this, that I tend to be a little bit, so I am, I don't know if you're familiar with Marie Kondo, but she's very much touchy-feely, and she wants people to say goodbye to their things and all that kind of stuff. I don't do that because you don't have enough time to do that. You're getting paid a fee to get this thing done in a certain amount of time. So, but there are those moments where you have like the heirloom that they don't like, or they're keeping just because it's that person's. And so having that discussion about that thing. So I'm all about repurposing and trying to take something that you're not using that meant something to you and making it useful. Because you want to have those fun memories when you pick something up that reminds you. But if it's in a box in the attic, you might as well get rid of it because it's really not doing you anything. It's just taking up space. But I can be a little
pushy.
I guess pushy. Yeah, that's the right word. So, I sometimes make little catty comments about like somebody's clothing. I'm like, this died in the 80s. We need to get rid of this. So, and fortunately, my clients for the most part laugh and think I'm super funny about it. Because I try to teach people about compartmentalizing. So like if you have 46 inches for clothing, then that's what you have, right? And so you need to live within that space. You don't need to start adding rolling racks of clothes in the room, and that's your designated space. And there's always exceptions to that rule, but I try to force people to oh, there's only room for 5 Tupperware pieces, you need to get rid of these 2. And no matter what it is, there's always that, oh, but I really like that. And then when they're done, they always either call me later or and they're like, you were so right, like this is definitely, like, I did not need that. So yeah.
Good point. Last question for you is, what is your spirit animal?
What is my spirit animal? I'd have to say a pig because I've always loved pigs. And I've always wanted a pet pig, but I've never had one. So yeah, I just think they're happy animals that just, all they do is they live for getting dirty and digging in the mud, and yeah, so kind of funny.
Very funny for sure. I had a guest, I think last year, from Arizona. I think he's a professor in a university, and he's pigs as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, Right, it's not the end yet, Mike. Let's play now the word association game, okay? I'm going to give away some words and just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Okay.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Family.
Your bond.
Money.
Nice.
Love.
Always.
Life.
Happy.
Sex.
Yeah. Fun.
Okay. A religion.
Spiritual.
Politics.
Annoying.
Friendship.
Love.
Desire.
Passion.
Regret.
Never.
Success.
Hopefully.
Wish.
Wish. Promise.
One word for happiness.
Excitement.
One word for Austin.
Home.
One word for Texas.
Big.
I had someone from Texas said the same thing as well. One word for USA.
USA. Diversity.
Tell me again the name of your company.
Simply by Michael.
Okay, one word for Simply by Michael.
Helping, I guess.
Good. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely daughter for a coffee, and I'm going to ask her, tell me the most beautiful thing about your dad, and tell me something that he still needs to improve on, to work on. What do you think she would tell me?
I think she would tell me affection for things that she loves, and then things I need to work on is temper.
The overprotective dad, I can see.
Yeah.
The children, they always say that anyway.
Yeah.
Right, let's play now Michael and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time. Okay, you can ask me a question now.
Okay, so you said you've lived a couple places, UK and Portugal, and I'm not sure about other places. What's your favorite place to live?
It's a really tough question because, yes, I'm originally from Brazil. I lived in Portugal 5 years, and I've been living in England for the last almost 17 years now. Okay, it's very tough. I would say London, because I love being here. Fits me very well. I love being in London. I think London is a city of opportunities. You know, you're never bored. There's always something to do, and it's just like multicultural. You see people from all over the world around London. But saying that, Portugal has a big place in my heart because it was the first place when I arrived in Europe. I was 19 years old, and when I think about Portugal, it's like I feel like home when I go to Portugal as well. And of course Brazil, because they're always gonna be my place where I was born, where this thing started. But answer to your question, right now I would say London, because I just love being here. I think it's a place that fits me very well. Have you been in London before, by the way?
I have twice, and every time I go, it's one of my favorite places to be. And I always feel like I need to see more. But so far the places, and I haven't been many, but my two favorite are London and Barcelona.
Oh, very good. Next time when you come to London, let me know. We're gonna go for a walk.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Michael, did you have a good time? Did you enjoy the interview?
I did. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks so much for taking the time again. Thank you very much. I know you're very busy. I know you're very
but before always running around.
before you go, if you just can share a positive message or a positive quote, something that inspires in life.
Yeah, I think it's just that if you want the rainbow, you have to have the rain. And I think that says it very clearly, that you can't have one without the other. So
absolutely, they all come together. Both of them are beautiful, and they make they have a message for us. We need both, for sure.
Yeah, you do, for sure.
Mike, all the regards. Thank you so much. All the regards for your daughter, for your partner, and you keep in touch. Thanks for the interview, okay?
Thanks, you too. Have a good one.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.